Hey all, and thanks for tuning in. My name is Steven Spielberg and I'm with Pikes Peak Guitars, and I'd like to share with you today just a few simple tips and tricks on how to make the most basic of demonstration videos for YouTube. Now, I do make demo videos for Pikes Peak Guitars, and it's an ever-evolving learning process for me. I'm always trying to make them better, always trying to think of something new and creative to do. And believe me, the early ones were quite horrible. But I am also a consumer. When I buy gear, and I do buy a lot of gear, I will turn to YouTube and try to find different demos on various products I'm buying, and I find it very helpful, but I also find it very frustrating. So the next 10 things I'm about to share with you sort of grow out of my pet peeves, and I bet you'll resonate with at least a few of them. So thanks a lot for watching. Check this out. Let me see, is every hair in place? No, I guess. Boy, I hope they like this shirt, and wait till they check out my Norm's Rare guitar tee. That's going to give me some credibility, and wait till they hear the new licks I've learned. Man, this demo's going to smoke them. Okay, the first thing to consider, this might be a rough one, but the demo is not about you. It's about your listener. They found your video because they're seeking out information. I know this is going to hurt, but they're not interested in you as much as they're interested in your gear. And I've seen demos out there that are just absolutely absorbed in the person playing, and they'll play endless riffs for endless hours, and it really tells nothing about the product itself, but rather just shows off the talent, so be it, of the person who's playing. Okay, now let me see. The B side of Relayer has how many cuts? And I think I could get them all in this demo if I try really, really hard. And again, people are going to be impressed. You'll see. And that leads to our next point, number 2. It's a demo. It's not an audition. Your goal is to present the inherent tone of the gear you're demoing, the facts about it, the specs about it. It's not about how well you could play or how fast you could play or how loud you could play. Think of yourself like this. You are an educator. You are a reporter on a news team, not a performer. Tell your listener about how it feels. Tell them about how it sounds. Describe tone in the best terminology that you can. Let the person feel like they're sitting there with you learning about this, and help them understand it in the context of their practical application. Not everybody may be in the same type of band or play the same genre you do. So just remember, it's a demo of the gear, of the product. It's not an audition of your skills and talents. One other thing real quick while we're talking about that is when you're demoing an instrument and you play a particular song or riff, you don't have to play the entire song or every verse and every chorus in that song, just enough so that the person could identify with the tone of the instrument or whatever product you're demoing in that song, because their application is ultimately going to be a little bit different. And I've seen demos where people are playing like the B side of Yes albums to demo a flanger, and that's not what the demo is all about. So again, stick to not playing a whole lot. Okay, so let me see. Let me think this out. I'll spend 15 minutes demoing the neck pickup, 15 minutes the bridge pickup. Then I'll add distortion, and then I'm going to try some other modulation effects. And I think I can make the whole thing about 2.5 to 3 hours. Man, that's going to be a heck of an upload time. And that leads into our next point, number 3. Keep your demos short. When I'm searching for a product on YouTube and I want to learn about it, and I start seeing demos that are 15 and 20 minutes long, I got to be honest, I'll just skip them. There's no reason that you can't communicate the quality of a product, the specs of a product, the tone of a product in, let's say, 5 to 7 minutes maximum if you use your time well. Again, not to be redundant, but if you make a really long video, that might be impressive on some levels, but the average person who's looking for an information video, who will in turn be the person who clicks like on your video, they're not going to sit around for 20 minutes while you diddle with knobs on a phase shifter or something like that. So keep it short, Keep it simple, keep it direct. Hey, my name is Tommy Talks a Lot. I'm going to tell you as much information I can in the longest period of time. Let me start with telling you about this guitar, but before we get there, I've got to tell you about each and every patch cable I have, as well as the type of solder I used to put them all together. So let me go back before that and tell you about where I was born. And at that point in time, number 4, don't talk too much. I have seen demo videos on YouTube where the first 5 minutes is just the person talking and talking and talking and talking. And maybe I have ADD, but I get bored real quick of that, and I'll just either skip past the talking or just go on to another video. Introduce yourself. Be warm and hospitable. Give the information about the equipment, the specs, and that kind of thing. But then get on with it, because tone is what we're all chasing after. Tone is why we are on a video format online, looking for feedback on a particular thing. So for some of us, it's more easy to ramble than others, but don't talk too much, just enough to draw your listener in and help them feel like they've really learned about a product. Okay, I'd like to do a demo for you now, telling you about the tone of this beautiful 335. We'll tune up first. Okay, and now I hope you can hear that beautiful tone through my wonderful iPhone. Next would be to transmit the best tone possible. Now, this is a difficult one, and it's all relative, because there are those people out there who have studio rigs with rack compressors and high-end gear costing maybe tens and thousands of dollars. And on the other end, you have people trying to do demos with just, say, a simple iPhone or something like that. See if you could meet it somewhere in the middle. The iPhone demos are okay, but they really don't capture tone all that well. You could really set up a little demo recording deal for not a whole lot of money. For example, my first quote-unquote studio was a black piece of fabric my wife bought at Walmart. And I think that was about $12. I didn't have an expensive backdrop. For software, to this day, I use iMovie. It came free on my laptop computer, and that's all I use. I don't have fancy software. My interface that's sitting over here is a Focusrite 2-channel interface, and I think that brand new was about $79. Not much at all. And then finally, I've used a microphone for most of my demos that looks like this. It's an MXL V67GS, and I'm not doing a commercial for them, but I think this was about $99, and it works really well. So you don't have to have tens and thousands of dollars worth of equipment to make a decent video, but it does help to make a couple $100 investment into something that you're going to feel comfortable in. Will gain you some cred with the people watching you, and also just improve the tone where people can really discern on their computer speakers. That's another thing to remember. They're going to be mostly listening on either laptop or desktop speakers. Not everybody listens through power JBL monitors, but just try to get yourself to a point where you are just doing the best both audio and video possible. Next is a huge pet peeve of mine, and that is if you're demoing an electric guitar, play it clean. This is the truth. Anyone could buy a $69 distortion box, and whether you're running a $5,000 custom shop instrument or a $149 Daisy Rock instrument through it, they will both sound fairly close over an internet recording through that distortion box. So I can never figure out why people make demos of guitars and it's just all distorted all the time. Now, with that said, it may be the type of guitar that it's very appropriate to use a distortion box, and that's fine. Use it toward the end. Use it as an add-on, but let people hear it clean right up front. That's going to teach them about the voice of the instrument, the sound of the pickups, the bandwidth of the pickups, the sustain of the instrument, the overall character of it, and a lot of times even just the resonance. So watch how you use the distortion box, guys. Nobody's impressed, and we want to hear what the instrument sounds like. Number 7 would be to play as many different styles as you possibly can, even if it's just short snippets. You may be demoing that beautiful Strat, and you want to play all Clapton riffs on it, but somebody's watching who might be playing country, or somebody's watching who might be doing a harder rock or that kind of thing. So try to add a few different styles, even if you don't excel at them within your demo. You know, this keeps it interesting, a little bit of a challenge for you as the person making the demo to play these different things. But you know, do a blues riff, do a rock riff, do a country riff. Do a jazz riff, because the people who are going to tune into your demo, they're a wide variety. So you never know who you're going to touch and reach with that. So try to keep it interesting. Try to keep it across a wide genre. Next would be the use of video editing. Some software, even basic stuff like what I'm using right now, iMovie, comes with the ability to do swipes and just dissolves between slides. You could put in titles and all sorts of things. And that's great because a well-placed title or piece of information will help your user remember certain bullet point facts that you want them to, but don't overdo it. I've seen videos where there's stuff flying around the screen and people are trying to impress others with their editing capabilities. And, that's entertaining for a little while, but after a while, you're distracting from your very goal, which is to communicate about the product you're demoing. So have fun with the editing, but be very deliberate about it and use it. It's a tool. It's a great tool, but use it for your good. Not just to show other people how many editing skills you have or how complex your software is. If you don't have a black piece of cloth or something like that, my friend Josh has used a curtain or something to that effect. Try to make your video appealing and non-distracting from a cosmetic, from an aesthetic perspective. I have seen videos, and I kid you not, where the person's backdrop was their bedroom and there's clothes on the floor, and I think the dog puked and they didn't clean it up, and they're trying to show you their beautiful new instrument, and their home is in a situation where the Red Cross is getting ready to come through and serve donuts. So you don't need anything fancy. You don't need anything super professional. I was thinking not only did I use a piece of black fabric from Walmart, but I think the first demos I did on YouTube years ago, under a different name, not Pikes Peak Guitars, I was using a red tablecloth as a backdrop. Again, doesn't have to be fancy. Nobody knows, but try to make your videos as professional looking to the best of your ability with what you have to work with. So just keep those aesthetics in mind as you do make videos. After playing this guitar, I really think you'd like it. You should buy it. No, go ahead. Go ahead. You should buy this. You'll like this guitar. Number 10 would be present pros and cons. One disturbing trend I find out, especially in a lot of guitar magazines today, they'll review a product and present all of the pros. Maybe throw in a little criticism here and there, but I don't know if it's because they want the manufacturer's advertising dollars, but when you're sharing a video where someone's considering spending hundreds, if not thousands, on a piece of musical gear, they're going to want to know what you do like and what you don't like about it, and here's the key, and why. Why don't you like it, or why do you like it? Looking at this guitar, it's got a beautiful sound, but it's a little heavy. Or the pickups sound nice and open, but they're prone to feedback. That's helpful. You see, if I'm playing clean or I'm playing jazz or blues or something like that, I want big open sound. As a matter of fact, I have a Tele whose pickups are absolutely microphonic, and it sounds beautiful. But if I'm playing a harder rock, I don't want that microphonic sound because all I'm going to get is squealing and feedback. So because you don't know the application of your listener, always present them with serious pros and cons that are constructive, not just like, oh, I don't like the color, but just definite working application on what would make your product or instrument good or bad. Now, lastly, as we go, I hope you got something out of this. I know I did because I had to think through all these things as I do my videos. Have fun with your video. I've seen people do it very seriously and stoically, and again, like they've got something to prove or that kind of thing. But here's the catch. If you're having fun doing what you're doing, even if you make mistakes or glitches or whatever it is in either the editing or the playing or anything like that, your audience will be having fun with you. They'll be very graceful toward you. So have a good time doing it. Life or death does not revolve around these demo videos. Just simply have fun. But thank you. I also encourage you to check out the other videos on this page. And if you go back chronologically, you will see how awful those early ones were. And then I'm telling you this again, as I said before, for pragmatic reasons. So thanks for watching these. I also encourage you in a non-critical and healthy way, not that we don't want to offend anyone else, but leave some comments below of what you feel are important things to do or not do in a video. But again, we want to be respectful of others. So again, thank you for watching. God bless you and have a fantastic day.